Koholo Yahweh Shemi Shai. Brakati Hawa, Brakati Haushai, Brakati Hawa, Brakati Haushai, Brakati Hawa, Brakati Haushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well over the flock, watching sincerely for the souls of the elect. Shalom to all the brothers pushing the words with truth and sincerity. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. There's always two sides of the story here in Babylon. Two sides of the story. Here you got one depiction, HY Northeast DC protest rebuke camp. Out of all the images that I seen yesterday, this one pops out the most. This is the one I meditated on the most. This is the one that waking up, I'm still contemplating or trying to fathom the most. When it's time, discernment, when it's the right time for things. There's a season for everything. And why? What's the intentions of why somebody would do that? And one example, you'll have men say, yeah, we doing what we gotta do. But remember, Esau, who Esau is, the devil. He writes his own narrative, which is the leading narrative of the world. A group of what appear to be members of Black Israelite extremist group have arrived at Congress with clubs. First of all, he's an Edomite. Edomites is they're going to make it seem as bad as it possibly can. As many times as we call ourselves Hebrew Israelites, they're going to call us black, meaning demonic, meaning evil. As many times as, in order for there to be an extremist group, they got to be a regular group. If we're the extreme case, what's the regular case? But we're all labeled extremists because extremist is a catchy word for a terrorist. It's newspeak. Has arrived with Congress with clubs. Now, we know there's such things as walking staffs, canes and whatnot, but every man back here, unless y'all walk every day with a cane, unless y'all always constantly with canes, y'all came to defend yourself with that cane, just in case anything pops off. And we get it. But it's not wise. We get it. But it's not discerning. It's not judging the times wisely. Scripture says, Colossians 4 and 5, walk in wisdom toward them that are without. Who's without wisdom? Our enemies. Edom. It says, redeeming the time. What time is it? It's high time for people to wake up out of sleep, one. Two, it's the fall of Babylon. It's the end of days, where there's going to be hell put on our people, the time of Jacob's trouble, like none other. The last thing you want to do in these days is walk into a fire. The reason why I made this video mainly also is to thank the Lord for the guidance that He's given all the brothers in the guidance I'm speaking of our apostles. They ain't gonna lead us walking into a fire, man. Hebrews 13 and 17. Obey them that have rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls. It's not about man pleasing. It's about coming up under the men who the Lord set up, because they're watching for your souls, as they that must give account, because they themselves have to give account for your soul. It's not about making money. It was never should have been about that. It says that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. We don't want our apostles to be grieved at the task, the large task that they have at hand, that they're doing very well, which is to watch over our souls. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, but we are not ignorant of his devices. That being ignorant of his devices is not knowing his tricks, his schemes, his plans, and his plots. We know America's going to fall. We know that there's going to be civil war pretty much here in America. Class wars, skirmishes. But let's not be completely, we would be remiss and ignorant to say that every single clash we see on television that makes it to the television screen is a genuine clash and it's not a psyop in order to paint a narrative, in order to make a story. Satan is our adversary. The word Satan, it was transliterated from Shaitan. It shouldn't even say Satan. It should say adversary. It's talking about the enemies of the nation of Israel, the enemies of Yahweh, because those are his people. The enemies of Yahweh Shah, who crucified him. Even the enemies of the cross, the 2/3. The advantage that they can get over us is if we're ignorant of his devices. What happened yesterday was a device. Ain't no way in hell, like many people have said over the internet within the last 24 hours, is that we spend $756 billion on military per year, pretty much. That's the budget. At least 60% of the whole, 70% of the whole budget goes to military. And you allow some 500 people to storm Congress, storm the Senate houses, storm the Capitol while the Capitol was in play. Psyop. Psyop. Proverbs 2:11. Discretion shall preserve thee. Understanding shall keep thee. Discretion is knowing when to do what, when to do it. Is it the right time for this? Is it the right time for that? Some people, Israelites, might think it's always the right time. Others know better. When you deal with Proverbs 1:1, the proverb of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive instruction and wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. Now let me look up this word discretion so you can get clarification on that. Usually, okay, here we go. Discretion. Plan evil, sometimes good. Let's go to the Strongs. Let's go down here to summary. So discretion. Purpose, device, plans. Device, plans. Right? That's like discreet, to be discreet. Discretion, discreet. Power of devising, discretion. To devise a plan. That's what discretion is all about. And if the best plan you have is to march right into the heat of the battle and be labeled at a time like this, when basically that's their thing. They break Babylon. Egypt is turning against Egypt. The house is being divided. Satan against Satan. Babylon against Babylon. You're supposed to watch it burn. Not insert yourself into harm's way. Things are going to pop off all the time. Don't be so eager to jump into the midst of that fire. Matthew 10:16, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Who are the wolves? The other nations. 2/3 of our people. The adversaries of the Lord and of his people, of his elect. We're here to teach. We're here to be humble. We're here to be discreet. Use discretion. We're here to, the word I'm looking for is be spiritual. We're spiritual men. So, even though the effect has been done already, and all brothers did was teach, I ain't gonna say y'all came down there and started clobbering people and y'all jumped inside the Senate houses like the rest of the people, like the Edomites was. But just remember that was a psyop, and be careful. What that's what y'all do. That's that's y'all camp. That's how y'all want to carry yourself. But if I had control over that camp, I would have told y'all it now ain't the time. Maybe we'll be out there tomorrow. Let's do a live show. Now ain't the time. It says, "Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as dove." A snake wouldn't have made its way. Snake don't go looking for all of the, when the wolves is fighting, the snake ain't gonna run over there try to catch him some prey. It says, "Are harmless as doves." Ain't no on a good day with his staff. If you was Bruce Lee, you're not gonna stop what Satan got. Satan got leverage when it comes to carnality. So even though they painting the picture like y'all was about to beat the hell out of somebody, that's just for his own deceitful purposes. He's the real oppressor. We know that. Matthew 25:5-25. Be prepared for this time. Matthew 5:25. Agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art in the way with them. We not the Hebrew Israelites that start talking up all proud when police come around. Not on the contrary. We've learned over time that police, majority, 80% of them just want to make it home to their kids. The rest of them, they get a high off of doing what they do. Everybody's different. That's what discretion means. Having a plan, devising a plan for each situation. The plan is what Yahweh Shah said. Agree with thine adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with them. Man, y'all want us out of here? Out of here. You hear when any of them boys say clear it out? Clear it out. There's other places. This is a big, broad earth, and you got internet access and Wi-Fi. Cast your net somewhere else, man. Use discretion. It says, "Lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison," which Revelation 2:10 tells you is going to happen regardless for a lot of us for 10 days, which is completion. Peter went to prison. Paul went to prison. "Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt be by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery." The message that Yahushua is speaking that y'all don't got no power in this kingdom. He told them, period. He told his disciples, look, I'm not the prince of this world, and me have nothing in common. Like, I'm not the prince of this world. Satan is the prince of this world. I gotta go. I gotta return to the Father, and then I'll come again as the comforting word, and two, as in the reincarnation, in the regeneration, to take back the kingdoms and the crowns of these wicked men, and to fulfill my purpose on earth, which is to hold everything in my captivity, get everything under my subjection, and then give it to the Father. That's in 1 Corinthians 15. And that job will be done, man. We literally won't have to lift a bat to take, for the kingdom to be restored to Israel. And the Lord eventually, Jeremiah 16:16, is going to rise us up in that magnitude where we are able to not just be on the defense, but on the offense. Are we at that time now? No. Job 20:22. Because ultimately, all right, what the Lord is going to do is restore order to the world. It's bigger than America. It's about restoring order to this earth, to the cosmos, to the heavens. Even this outer space is nasty when you look at the atmosphere, when you look at the ozone layer. There's something called space junk, what Esau leaves up there. Everything got to be restored. The scripture talk about the earth is, he that turneth the things upside down. The earth is defiled by the inhabitants thereof. The inhabitants. All right. And Job 20 and 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency. You got to understand these words here. Fullness and sufficiency. When he's fully suffice. Suffice means you don't need anymore. When he's complete in his new world order plan, he shall be in straits. Straits meaning like a straitjacket, a position of difficulty, something hard to get out of. He's going to be stuck. He's going to be burdened, plagued with and burdened, because there's going to be a third world war in the midst. Just as soon as he gets his microchip RFID, mark of the beast, inside all of his sheeple, it makes it mandatory and devalues the currency and does whatever plans and schemes he has, right? We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. All his psyops has been completed, and he's got his new world order like he always promised he would. He'll be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Look that word wicked up. It means labor. It's talking about Israel. It's talking about our people. It shouldn't say wicked. It should say labor. Shall come upon him, because we're going to fall. The Lord's going to give the call to fall on Esau. When spiritual power exists. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Thermonuclear war. Right? But right when he's about to fill his belly, meaning if we look at Esau today or yesterday, look at him today, that was a psyop. Business as usual. Man, they got back to work before the night was over. They was back in the Congress. All of them. Pelosi, Pence, counting up ballots like nothing ever happened. Psyop. And we understand order out of chaos, Illuminati doctrine, Masonic doctrine, all right? The ends justify the means, manifest destiny, do what thou wilt. That's how they operate. That's how they move. But to understand the psyop is to know what's the real, to be able to discern what's the real thing from a game, from a test run. That was a test run. When he's about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. That's what we waiting for. The Lord to judge. We ain't gonna do nothing. We ain't gonna bat an eye, man. We ain't gonna lift a finger at our enemies until the Lord shows his wrath. It says, and shall rain it upon him while he's eating. He got to get fed first. He got to start getting fat. His plans got to start working. Meaning the new world order got to start kicking in the overdrive. It's going to be here. The chip will be implemented. You're not going to wiggle out of, we're not going to get out of here before he implements the mark of the beast. Mandatory. We got to go through all of this BS. And Daniel's 12 tells you it's going to be worse like no other time in the history of time. Verse 24, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So we know his latter end. His latter end is slavery. His latter end is genocide. His latter end is a latter end of America is nuclear holocaust. So all we got to do is wait upon ye. Wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, till I rise up into the prey. Lord, in this video is edifying. Until next time, shalom.